In this place, death doesn't always have a clear shape. It doesn't roar. It doesn't chase. It only needs to remain unseen. And by the time you realize, everything ended before it even began. Deadly venom, the killers you never see in Africa. Early morning on the African savanna. The air isn't hot yet, but right beneath the ground, life began moving long ago. This is not the land of the strongest, but of the most dangerous. And that boundary is sometimes only a few millimeters long, the length of a fang. Every morning here begins with silent calculations. Who eats whom, who avoids whom, and who carries a weapon that the enemy never sees. Africa has hundreds of venomous species. Many are smaller than a hand, but size doesn't matter. Venom only needs enough time to take effect. This is a biological weapon refined by nature over millions of years. Not for indiscriminate attacks, but to terminate a target with ultimate precision. In nature, two main mechanisms exist. One type attacks the nervous system, fast and silent. The other destroys tissue and blood, slower but harder to stop. The first group is neurotoxins. They don't need strength, just a single touch. And from that moment, time begins to work against the victim. The black mamba is the most typical representative of this group. Up to 4.5 meters long, ground movement speed can reach 20 kilometers per hour. No species escapes faster than it. When threatened, the black mamba raises its forebody, revealing an inky black mouth. It's not a display, but a final warning before attacking. The cobra chooses a different way. It spits venom into the eyes from a distance, causing almost instant blindness. No need to approach, giving the opponent no chance to react. The other group uses hemotoxin. Death does not come immediately, but lingers over time as the body is gradually destroyed from within. The bush viper is the most common hemotoxin carrier in Africa. Though it lacks speed and range, in the savanna, no one sees it before it's too late. The afternoon here changes in ways that are hard to notice. The temperature drops, shadows begin to lengthen, and on a small rock near the forest edge, something is waiting. A field mouse is moving close to the grass, completely normal behavior, foraging, observing, pausing. But nearby, a pair of eyes is watching. Venom doesn't require the host to be large. It requires patience. And on this savanna, patience is something that has been honed over a vast amount of time. To understand what is about to happen, one must know what that moving creature can cause. And the answer, in truth, is terrifyingly simple. The emperor scorpion looks big and heavy, but it isn't the most dangerous. The scarier species are often smaller, yellow, and nearly vanish into the sand. The Deathstalker scorpion is much smaller, but its venom is extremely potent, acting simultaneously on the victim's heart and central nervous system. In the twilight, it stands perfectly still. No threat, no attack. Just existing, with its curved tail behind it already dangerous enough. The bush viper is not as fast as the mamba, but it hides perfectly. No sound, no movement, and when it strikes, everything ends in less than 0.25 seconds. The viper's jaw has a special folding mechanism. When attacking, the fangs spring out like hypodermic needles, piercing deep into the tissue and pumping venom directly into the body. Hemotoxin destroys red blood cells and the ability for blood to clot. Victims do not die from the wound. They die because the blood no longer has the ability to clot. The mouse stands still, unaware that it has fallen into the crosshairs. The snake doesn't need to see or hear. It only needs to sense the heat from the prey's body. No need to see or hear, just a temperature difference. Anything warmer than the environment becomes a target. Because of this, the viper causes the most deaths each year. The distance is less than 30 centimeters. The mouse stops, then takes another step, and the snake remains motionless, waiting for the exact moment to strike. In less than half a second, the fangs spring out, embedding deep and pumping venom into the prey's body. Everything happens so fast, it is almost impossible to perceive. The mouse recoils. Pain reflexes triggered, but the venom is already in the blood. From that moment, the internal destruction process begins. The viper does not give chase. Within 10 to 20 minutes, the prey will begin to lose orientation. The snake only needs to follow the remaining heat trail. Elsewhere, a small spider also carries its own venom, enough to destroy tissue from within in a slower but no less dangerous way. A brown spider bite is almost painless at first. The victim often doesn't realize it until the skin area begins to necrose hours later. Neurotoxins strike the body's control system quickly. Hemotoxins destroy from within. Slower, but more prolonged and harder to control. Afternoon has arrived. The viper still lies still, not moving, but its body still silently monitors every change around it. The mouse begins to move more slowly. Hemotoxin has begun to take effect. The body is losing coordination. This is the final sign the predator is waiting for. The viper begins to move, not rushing, each step precise along the heat trail. This is the process of retrieving what already belonged to it after the previous attack. The viper is not the strongest nor the fastest, but hemotoxin allows it to take down prey larger than its body without needing a direct confrontation. After all, the savanna is silent again. Not a peace, but a balance re-established after every encounter. The viper returns to its familiar spot. It will rest for many days to digest, but the venom has already begun to regenerate, starting now. Not far away, a black mamba glides across the high ground. On the same savanna, many venom mechanisms coexist without the species being aware of each other. The mamba does not actively attack, but when cornered, it can bite repeatedly, each time dangerous enough to take down large prey. Its venom attacks the nervous system, causing the body to gradually shut down. The victim remains conscious, but loses the ability to breathe in silence. The cobra chooses another way. Its venom combines neurotoxins and tissue destruction, and it can spit from a distance without touching the opponent. In the twilight, it faces a meerkat. Both stand still. The distance remains the same, but the advantage is leaning toward the snake. In the world of venom, danger does not always lie with the largest. The small, hard-to-see species often pose the greatest risk. The yellow-tailed scorpion is very small, but carries potent neurotoxins. Just one sting is enough to be dangerous if not treated in time. This third killer, it doesn't hunt with speed or ambush. The scorpion exists by becoming invisible, and in the darkness, invisibility is the perfect tactic. At the same time, the black mamba begins to move. This is the time it operates most effectively on the savanna. Nearby, a mongoose appears. It has a partial resistance to venom, but it is not immune. Every mistake still carries a price. The black mamba detects the mongoose and stops. It raises its head to observe, not hiding. This is a calculating posture, only deciding to attack when the moment is clear. The mongoose also circles the snake. Both sides look at each other for a few seconds, enough to understand the opponent. It has venom resistance, but that doesn't make the mamba back down. The mamba strikes. Quick, clean, only the head and neck lunging forward. The bite is precise, venom entering the blood almost instantly. There is no chance for correction. The mongoose runs around, its body reacting immediately to the venom. But the mamba does not chase. It stands still, watching. To it, one precise strike is enough. The mamba turns its head, disappearing into the darkness. No rush. Behind it, the mongoose has recovered. Its body fought off a dose of venom that wasn't enough to kill. The savanna returns to its familiar rhythm. There are no absolute winners, only species that continue to exist in the way that suits them best. The viper is still coiled there. The scorpion moves on the ground nearby. The mamba has disappeared. 3 species, 3 ways of existing, and no species needs to be the largest. Looking at the viper in the night, no aggression is seen, only absolute patience. And sometimes it is the waiting itself that is most dangerous. Venom is not a weapon of destruction. It is a tool of balance. Each species controls another, creating a system where everything is closely linked. Every year there are thousands of deaths due to snakes, but they themselves also prevent many pathogens from spreading. In nature, nothing is simple. The African night is not truly silent. It is only quieter to human senses. Under rocks, in the grass, under the sand, everything is still operating. There are no names for what takes place. No good, no evil. Just a system of existence older than any language that ever appeared. And the question is not which species is the most dangerous, but what would happen if one link in this system disappeared? Dawn over the Serengeti grasslands. The first light of a new day spreads across the horizon. Tanzania, East Africa, where borders between nations blur beneath the ceaseless footsteps of wildlife. This is the land of great migrations, where millions of wildebeest and zebras move with cycles of rain and drought. And here too, a pride of lions prepares to embark on the longest journey of their lives, a journey crossing national borders. The pride consists of 6 adult females, 2 male lions, and 4 6-month-old cubs. Africa's largest cat species, famous for their strength, coordinated hunting, and astonishing adaptability to harsh environments. The dry season has lasted over 4 months, water sources gradually depleting, prey increasingly scarce. The lion pride must choose: stay and face starvation, or follow the footsteps of the Great Migration. The decision has been made. The entire group will head toward Kenya, where rains have already begun arriving earlier. A journey nearly 100 kilometers long, through unfamiliar terrain, through nameless dangers. Wildebeest went ahead 2 weeks ago. The tracks still very clear. This is the route their ancestors traveled for thousands of years. The first day closes. The lion pride has covered 20 kilometers, but the road ahead is still very long. Lions are the most complex group living animals in the cat family. Cooperation is the key to survival. Lion eyes can see in darkness 6 times better than humans. Hearing detects prey from distances over 1 kilometer. From afar rings the deep rumble of another lion pride, a clear sign they've entered territory. This is one of the greatest challenges. Lions are very territorial. Any intruder is a threat. But our pride doesn't seek conflict. They just want to pass through, quietly and quickly. By dawn's break, they've passed through that territory safely. No bloodshed. A rare fortune on this harsh journey. Day 4. They reach another boundary. No signs, no fences, but this is the most dangerous boundary. Human boundary, roads connecting villages, engine sounds, strange smells, unfamiliar dangers. Over 30 lions are killed by vehicles each year on these roads. Humans and wildlife are sharing the same space. But greater danger still waits ahead. A Maasai herding village, where livestock roam free on the savannah. For hungry lions, a goat is a much easier target than wild antelope. But that's also people's livelihood. The Maasai have lived alongside lions for hundreds of years. They understand their presence, but cannot always be tolerant. The lion pride chooses to circle around this area. They don't hunt, don't provoke. Survival instinct guides each step. The next morning, the lion pride reaches the border between Tanzania and Kenya. An invisible line on maps, but to them, just continuing grassland. In Kenya, conservation policy differs from Tanzania. Anti-poaching patrols are tightened, corridors for wildlife expanded. However, the greatest challenge still lies ahead. The Mara River flows swiftly, water murky and full of crocodiles. Lions aren't good swimmers like leopards, but they have no other choice. Prey has crossed the river. The male lion advances first to test depth. Water rises nearly to its head. It roars a signal. One individual at a time jumps in. Cubs stay close to mothers. Current pulls strongly, but the entire pride swims with all remaining strength. A crocodile approaches, but before it can attack and the lion group reaches shore, it must retreat. All set foot on the other bank, exhausted but safe. They've entered Kenya, into Masai Mara, where green grasslands stretch to the horizon. And prey is there. Thousands of wildebeest, thousands of zebras, gathered following early season rains. That day, the lion pride brought down an antelope. It's the first meal after nearly a week of hunger and thirst. And this time, all members share portions. In short attack phases, Lions can reach speeds up to 60 kilometers per hour. However, the crucial factor is always surprise. Lion hunting success rate is only about 30%. Each hunt is a risky gamble, and thus, each meal carries survival value. But the journey isn't finished yet. The wildebeest herd will continue moving with the reins, and the lion pride will continue following their tracks. In coming weeks, they may return to Tanzania or stay in Kenya a few more months. No one can know beforehand. But political boundaries can't stop survival instinct. Lions have moved like this for thousands of years. Today, only about 20,000 individual lions remain in the wild, decreased nearly 50% in just the past 30 years. The greatest threat to them isn't nature, but shrinking habitat and increasingly escalating conflict with humans. However, hope remains. In 2026, Kenya and Tanzania signed a cross-border conservation agreement. Wildlife corridors are protected, allowing lions and many other species to move freely according to life's natural rhythm. The Maasai play a crucial role in this effort. They are the first guardians and also the bridge between humans and wildlife. Compensation programs help communities accept coexistence with lions, protecting livestock without needing to kill predators. Educating the younger generation helps them understand that lions aren't enemies, but heritage, the country's common asset. Ecotourism also brings sustainable income. Throughout its lifetime, a living individual lion can generate economic value exceeding $1 million. Conservation, thus, is not just protecting animals, but protecting the entire ecosystem and the people living within it. Our lion pride has now temporarily settled in Masai Mara. 4 cubs grow each day, stronger, more independent. One day, they too will undertake their own cross-border journeys, like their parents, like their ancestors. That journey will be less harsh if humans continue to protect and cooperate. Lions are symbols of Africa, apex of the food chain, guardians of balance for the entire savanna. When we protect lions, we protect the entire ecosystem and ultimately protect ourselves. Borderlines on maps may divide nations, but nature doesn't recognize boundaries. Life has no borders. And in that lion pride's ceaseless journey, there's a clear message. The future of wildlife lies in our hands. The Serengeti savanna is home to over 3 million herbivores, but it's also territory of the planet's most dangerous predators. Each day, life here is a ceaseless battle of wits. Herbivores have no fangs or claws, no venom. They only have survival instinct. In this ecosystem, each herbivore species has developed different skills, but all aim toward one single purpose: to survive. This is the story of adaptation, about how seemingly vulnerable species have existed and continue to exist through millions of years of evolution. Wildebeest can reach speeds up to 70 kilometers per hour. But for them, speed is not the only weapon for survival. Zebras live in large herds. In Serengeti alone, numbers reach 200,000 individuals. This very scale is their survival strategy. Giraffes stand nearly 6 meters tall. Their vision encompasses the entire savanna. Height itself is absolute security advantage. African buffalo with massive horns can inflict fatal injuries, making them one of the least attacked herbivore species. Each species possesses distinct advantages, but all exist in one unchanging reality. Danger is always present and never disappears. Regarding senses, antelope ears can rotate 360 degrees. They detect sounds from 1 kilometer distance. This is a natural early warning system. Zebra eyes are positioned on sides of the head, vision nearly 360 degrees. They can see behind without turning their heads. Buffalo's sense of smell is 5 times more acute than humans. They can smell lions from 300 meters, time enough to prepare defense. Giraffes combine all 3 senses, but the greatest advantage is height. From 6 meters high, they see what's coming first. When one detects danger, the entire herd reacts. Information spreads in just seconds. Collective warning system. Regarding speed and endurance, wildebeest have maximum speed of 70 kilometers per hour, and they maintain this speed continuously for 5 kilometers. Cheetahs are faster, 110 kilometers per hour, but can only run 300 meters before exhaustion. Wildebeest know this. The tactic is to prolong the chase. Run zigzag. Change direction suddenly. Deplete the predator's energy. Zebras aren't as fast as antelope. Maximum speed 65 kilometers per hour. But they have astonishing endurance. In annual migration, zebras run over 3,000 kilometers. Their bodies evolved for endurance, not explosive speed. Regarding herd tactics, this is the most fundamental principle. A solitary zebra has survival rate below 20%. When lions attack, herds quickly form defensive formation. Young in the center, adult individuals surrounding outside. Wildebeest apply different tactics. When pursued, they run in multiple directions, disrupting predator coordination and creating escape opportunities. Giraffes usually stay in small groups, 3 to 5 individuals. They take turns on guard. When one eats, others observe. Buffalo, when threatened, they point horns outward, young in the middle. Even lions hesitate to attack this formation. With zebras, stripe patterns aren't just for beauty. When the entire herd moves simultaneously, stripes overlap, creating visual interference phenomenon. This makes predators difficult to focus on a specific individual, reducing hunt success rate by about 30%. Antelope possess brown-yellow coats, blending perfectly with dry grass color in dry season. When standing still, they're nearly invisible before predator eyes. Giraffes utilize height for camouflage. When standing among tall trees, only the head protrudes, making them from afar look like motionless branches. The African savanna is the harshest survival test, but herbivores have passed through millions of years of evolution. They have no fangs, claws, or venom, but possess acute senses, superior speed, and collective intelligence. The relationship between predator and prey is not a story of winning or losing, but of balance, where both coexist to maintain the ecosystem. By 2026, protecting this savanna becomes more important than ever, because this is not just home to countless species, but also the common heritage of the entire planet. An afternoon on the Botswana savanna, a honey badger is digging and foraging for food near a dry riverbed. Suddenly, 2 leopards emerge from nearby bushes. In viral videos online, this is when the honey badger would turn around to attack the leopards, fight bravely, and force them to retreat. But reality is completely different. The honey badger doesn't attack. Instead, it immediately runs toward the nearest rocky den at maximum speed. This isn't cowardice. This is intelligent survival. This is the story of the real honey badger, not the invincible super warrior the internet portrays, but an escape artist, a survival specialist. Popular belief suggests honey badgers win every fight. Online videos show them chasing lions, attacking leopards, and defeating anyone who dares challenge them. But field research over 20 years in the Kalahari shows honey badgers avoid conflict whenever possible. They only fight when there's no other choice. When facing lions, honey badgers have three options: flee, hide in a burrow, or counterattack. The first two options account for 80% of cases. Why? Because honey badgers only weigh 10 kilograms. Lions weigh 200 kilograms. This isn't a fair fight. Victory is impossible. Even when honey badgers attack ferociously, roaring and biting, this isn't to win. This is to create an escape opportunity, making the opponent hesitate for a few seconds, enough to get away. The honey badger's main tactic is to make itself hard to eat, not to defeat the enemy. Thick skin, fierce growling, biting the opponent's face to cause pain. The goal isn't to make the lion flee. The goal is to make the lion think killing the honey badger costs more effort than the value gained. This is cost-benefit calculation. And this strategy often works, not because the honey badger is stronger, but because the lion or leopard doesn't want to get injured over such small prey. But it's not always lucky. GPS research tracking honey badgers over 5 years shows 60% of individuals have scars from attacks. Some have broken legs, torn ears, or are blind in one eye, showing these aren't signs of victory, but marks of surviving confrontations. Three tracked individuals died within 5 years. One killed by a lion, one killed by a leopard, one attacked by a pack of hyenas. Not invincible. Viral videos online only show the times honey badgers successfully escape. No one films the times they fail, lying dead in the bushes. Even with venomous snakes, honey badgers don't always win. Research in Okavango recorded honey badgers bitten by cobras, lying unconscious and being eaten alive by vultures. The unconscious period from 2 to 5 hours is an extremely dangerous phase, as they cannot defend or flee, allowing any predator to finish them off. So why do honey badgers have a reputation for fearlessness? Because we remember the times they survive, not the times they die. This is perception bias. The truth is, honey badgers survive by knowing when to fight and when to run. They fight fiercely when cornered, but prioritize escape over victory. Climbing ability is an important escape weapon. When chased, honey badgers can climb trees quickly. Lions can't climb. Neither can hyenas. Burrowing ability also saves their lives many times. Honey badgers can dig 1 meter deep in 15 minutes. They crawl in and block the entrance with dirt, waiting for the opponent to leave. Surviving to fight another day is always more beneficial than dying a hero. And nature only selects for survival ability, not rewarding courage. The average lifespan of 7 to 8 years for honey badgers is much lower than many other carnivores, clearly reflecting that their risky lifestyle always comes with consequences. Compared to leopards living 12 years, lions 14 years. Honey badgers die much earlier, mainly due to accumulated wounds from confrontations and infections. Mortality research shows 30% of honey badgers die from larger carnivores, 20% die from venom, 50% die from infection and starvation. Honey badgers are fearless, but fearlessness doesn't equal invincibility, as they accept danger largely because of food-scarce environments. To this day, honey badgers still exist in many areas of Africa, but conflicts with humans are increasing as they steal chickens and dig burrows near homes. Many people kill honey badgers thinking they're dangerous. But the truth is, honey badgers avoid humans when possible. They only attack when cornered. Honey badgers teach the important lesson that survival isn't about winning every battle, but knowing when to fight and when to retreat. Viral videos may make them look like superheroes, but in the real world, honey badgers are wise survivors, not undefeated warriors. And perhaps that's what's most admirable, not superior strength, but the ability to keep living in a world full of creatures 20 times stronger. The Masai Mara grasslands at dawn, at the edge of the plains, where farmland meets wilderness, a female cheetah lies vigilantly. This is Nira, and her story is not easy. Nearby, two small cheetahs are playing in the tall grass. This is all that remains of the litter of 6 that Nira gave birth to 3 months ago. The other 4 are dead, 1 killed by hyenas, 2 attacked by lions, 1 snatched by an eagle while Nira was hunting. This isn't an exception. This is the reality of cheetahs. This is a story of survival at the edge, about a lone mother raising cubs in a world that has shrunk 90%, racing against time. Cheetahs are completely different from leopards. Solid black spots instead of rosettes, non-retractable claws like cleats, and a long tail like a balance beam. Everything designed for one purpose: speed, from 0 to 70 kilometers per hour in just 2 seconds. Maximum can reach 110 kilometers per hour. Therefore, the body weighs only 50 kilograms, not strong enough to climb trees or fight larger carnivores. Cheetahs are the weakest among large predators. Nira knows this better than anyone. Every day she must move her 2 cubs to new hiding places. Lions and hyenas are always lurking, searching for cheetah cubs to kill. When she needs to call her cubs, Nira emits a special bird-like call. This call doesn't attract the attention of other predators, but the cubs can still hear clearly. But the biggest challenge isn't protecting the cubs, it's feeding them. Nira must hunt every day, each hunt lasting an average of only 20 seconds before she's exhausted. If she fails 3 or 4 times in a row, Nira and her cubs will starve. And starvation means weaker, slower, easier to attack. And this is the death spiral. This morning, Naira spots a young gazelle antelope grazing 300 meters away. Perfect prey, small, weak, separated from the herd. She moves meter by meter. Her tawny coat with black spots blends completely into the dry grass. Distance remaining, 100 meters. 50 meters, 20 meters, tail tense. Hind leg muscles coiled to maximum. The moment has come. Naira launches like an arrow. 2 seconds to reach 70 kilometers per hour. The antelope detects her, but it's too late. 12 seconds later, Naira catches up, using her claws to trip the prey's hind legs. The antelope tumbles. Naira immediately bites the neck, suffocating the windpipe. The entire hunt lasts 17 seconds. But Naira is panting as if she just ran a marathon. She needs 15 minutes to recover, but there's no time. The smell of blood spreads. Hyenas will arrive in 5 to 10 minutes. Naira calls her cubs to eat quickly. The 2 little ones eat hurriedly. Naira doesn't eat, only watches the surroundings. The mother always eats last. If there's food left, this is the survival law of cheetahs. But today is unlucky. 7 minutes later, a pack of hyenas appears. Naira immediately calls her cubs to retreat. Can't fight, can only run. The meal is lost. This is the reality of cheetahs. 50% of kills are stolen by lions, hyenas, or vultures. Catching prey doesn't guarantee getting to eat. But Naira doesn't give up. That afternoon, she hunts successfully again. This time, she finds thick bushes to eat safely. The cubs get full bellies. Today is a good day. Months pass. The 2 cubs grow gradually, from 5 kilograms to 20 kilograms. Naira begins teaching them to hunt. First lesson, observation. Naira lets the cubs watch from a distance when she hunts. They learn how to choose prey, how to approach undetected, how to calculate distance. Second lesson, practice. When the cub is 10 months old, Naira catches a rabbit but doesn't kill it. She lets the cub practice the technique of tripping and neck biting. The first time, the cub fails, the rabbit escapes. But Naira is patient, lets the cub try again. After 3 attempts, one of the 2 cubs succeeds. Joy spreads through the small family. But when the cubs are 14 months old, Naira must chase them away. Not because she doesn't love them, but because instinct protects them from adult males. The 2 siblings must now be independent, too early compared to nature. But the shrinking environment doesn't allow otherwise. They're still immature, but must face the adult world. The first week, they fail at hunting continuously, hungry and afraid. But then they learn something important: cooperation. One chases, one ambushes. Finally, they catch their first prey. Naira, somewhere not far away, hears the joyful calls of her cubs. She doesn't approach, but knows they're still alive. That's all a cheetah mother can hope for. Currently, only about 7,000 cheetahs remain in the wild, down from 100,000 individuals at the beginning of the 20th century. Every survivor is a miracle. Lifespan decreased from 15 years to only 8 years. Living space shrunk 90%. Without immediate action, the planet's fastest animal will only exist in legend. Naira and her cubs are living proof of resilient vitality. Every day they fight. Every day they survive. Their story is the story of the entire species, racing against time. East African savanna. Dawn has not yet broken. A new day begins like any other. But in this world, no day is truly like another. This is a land where every species is a link in the chain. Today's hunter can be tomorrow's prey. That order is not fixed. It changes by the hour, by each decision. And among all those species, there's one often underestimated, not the largest, not the fastest, but the one with the most complex social organization. This is the story of encounters, of losses, and of what happens after, when the hunter becomes the hunted. Baboons, the largest primate in southern Africa. Adult males weigh 25 to 45 kilograms. Canines up to 5 centimeters long, longer than lion canines, proportionate to body size. Baboon troops can reach 200 individuals. Within the troop, there's clear hierarchy. Large males protect the outer ring. Females and young stay at the center. They're omnivorous, from fruits and roots to insects and small reptiles, even newborn antelope when opportunity arises. This flexibility helps them survive many challenges. But in their habitat, every foraging day carries risk. Tall trees, open grassland, riverbanks, each terrain has its own predators. Morning, the troop spreads out foraging near sparse acacia woodland. A young male, about 3 years old, separates from the group, chasing prey by instinct. Not far away, a leopard has spotted the young baboon, the most perfect hunter in Africa in terms of stealth and terrain versatility. Leopards don't move, make no sound. They can lie motionless for hours, waiting for prey to come within striking range. The young male runs through the ambushed predator's line of sight. He doesn't know death is right beside him, about to claim his life. A leap erupts. At maximum speed, the leopard allows no mistakes. It quickly seizes the young male. The baboon can't react. That moment ends faster than any description can convey. This is nature's truth, not cruelty. But the baboon troop isn't far. And in baboon troops, every call carries information. The alarm call, leopard attacking. Within seconds, the entire troop's behavior transforms completely. No longer individuals foraging separately. All move in one direction, one objective. The leopard has a choice: climb the tree with prey or abandon it and escape. But the troop arrives too fast. Large males weighing 40 kilograms, 5-centimeter canines, and most important of all, they come together. This is no longer individual confrontation. The leopard decides in an instant. abandons the kill and flees. This is the right choice. Being isolated by a baboon troop is extremely dangerous. The troop doesn't pursue. They understand it's futile. Instead, the group quickly restores order and minimizes loss. Days later, another threat. Another species, lions. A pride of 4 lionesses moves into the area where the troop is foraging on a quiet morning. The response to lions is completely different from the response to leopards. Leopards are threats from above. Lions are threats on the ground. From above, the troop observes. They call loudly so the lions know they've been detected. In the hunting world, losing the element of surprise means losing the greatest advantage. The lion pride passes without stopping. To lions, baboons and trees aren't priority targets, but young ones on the ground are different. One lioness separates from the pride, lying hidden in tall grass near where the troop gathers to drink. She's been observing, and she's waiting for a young one to stray. A young baboon runs farther than the others. The lioness charges. Faster than any reaction can intervene. The young baboon has no chance. The troop reacts immediately but doesn't approach. They know lions aren't leopards. A lion's strength and speed on the ground don't allow that. A 130-kilogram lioness on open ground isn't an opponent the troop can effectively surround. They know this. But baboons don't forget. Research documents that this species can remember individuals of other species, especially those that have harmed the troop. The next day, Limpopo River. The troop comes to drink along their familiar route. Below the murky water, crocodiles wait for careless prey. In the troop, young ones typically drink at positions closest to shore. But riverbanks don't always allow ideal formation. A young baboon bends to drink. In an instant, the water erupts. No warning, no prior sound. A technique refined over millions of years. No chance for the young baboon. Nile crocodiles with bite force around 5,000 psi and reflexes under 0.1 seconds leave no gap. The troop remains at the water's edge. A few males just watch and roar. That behavior doesn't change the outcome, but shows social structure doesn't easily dissolve after loss. Then they leave. Order is re-established in heavy silence. Ahead still lies grassland, where risk and opportunity always coexist. A week later, the lioness pride returns, bringing 2 cubs about 6 weeks old. When the mothers leave to hunt, the 2 lie beneath low tree cover. Baboons discover this before we realize. From the tree branches, the lion mothers have gone far. 2 lion cubs lie alone. What follows is neither pure predation nor defense. Researchers call it redirected accumulated aggression, a complex social response. A male baboon picks up the lion cub, not frantically, just carries it and gradually climbs higher. The cub is completely helpless in this situation. At that height, the lion cub cannot survive a fall. A 6-week-old skeletal system isn't strong enough to withstand impact from over 15 meters. The lion mother returns quickly, roaring beneath the canopy, but climbing isn't her capability. Vertical distance is an absolute limit. The male baboon looks down and releases his grip, a behavior documented in primate studies in South Africa as a form of redirected, accumulated aggression. He leaves by another route, not looking back. The troop regroups and continues moving. No ceremony, only cold continuation. In nature, good and evil don't exist. Only strategies selected through evolution, shaped by social memory and survival pressure. Chakma baboons still maintain large populations, but shrinking habitat and increasing urban conflict pose new challenges. When dusk falls, they climb the tallest acacia trees, choosing height as their shield. Tomorrow repeats, like every survival cycle. Afternoon sunlight filters through the dense tropical canopy, air scorching hot, burning every living creature. The harshest summer day of the year in the Sundarbans region. Temperature reaches 42 degrees Celsius. Humidity drops to 10%. Even the most powerful creatures must find ways to cool their bodies. The river flows with murky water, cool, inviting, but beneath the seemingly calm surface, danger still lurks. This is predator territory. Bengal tigers, saltwater crocodiles, two apex predators, two different worlds, but sometimes two worlds collide. The Bengal tiger is one of 6 tiger subspecies still existing on Earth. In the wild today, only about 2,500 individuals remain. This tigress has 4 cubs, 4 months old enough to follow their mother, but still too small to face this dangerous world. Each weighs about 20 kilograms. Canines just emerged, claws still soft. They depend completely on their mother's protection. Tiger cub survival rate in the first 2 years is only about 50%. Starvation, disease, other predators, and sometimes accidents no one anticipates. The mother tiger has territory spanning roughly 20 square kilometers, sufficient food sources, but in the brutal heat, water is essential for survival. This afternoon, temperature reaches record highs. The mother tiger needs to cool herself and her cubs. The nearby river becomes the only option. She leads her cubs down to the riverbank, moving cautiously, eyes scanning every bush, ears listening for every sound, instinct warning of danger. The cubs appear eager. They don't yet fully understand the peril, only know the cool water can ease the burning heat. the innocence of youth. The mother tiger stops at the water's edge, drinks, sniffs the air, observes the surface. Water is calm, too calm, but the heat doesn't allow long hesitation. She steps in first. Water reaches her belly, cold, refreshing. She calls her cubs. 4 tiger cubs plunge in, water splashing everywhere. Their small bodies nearly submerged in the murky water. They swim by instinct, not skilled yet, but enough to move. The mother tiger moves slowly. She probes the mud beneath her feet, all senses operating at maximum, a deep vigilance evident. Saltwater crocodiles are the largest surviving reptiles. They can reach 7 meters long, weigh over a ton, and have lived in this region for millions of years. They lie still on the riverbed, just waiting, sensing vibrations in the water, detecting prey from afar. The mother tiger senses something changing in the water, a movement, an unusual current. She emits a low warning growl. Too late. From the riverbed, a violent surge of water erupts. Mud and white foam. A massive muscular mass launches to the surface. One tiger cub is seized unexpectedly. No time to cry out. No time to react. Only the sound of water exploding. The mother tiger thrashes frantically. The water heavy with the scent of sudden loss. She charges forward, herding her cubs toward the opposite shore. The 3 remaining cubs swim desperately, terrified, panicked, but still following their mother, survival instinct driving each swimming stroke through the water. Behind them, the crocodile tosses its prey into the air, the brutal death roll. But this isn't cruelty. This is nature's essence. The mother tiger looks back, amber eyes wide, the helpless rage of a mother, but she cannot return. The mission now is protecting the 3 that remain. As they near solid ground, the water erupts once more. A second crocodile launches from the mud, right beneath the mother tiger's flank. The second cub is seized, a desperate cry, then silence. The mother tiger stands like a wall of furious fur, shielding the 2 remaining cubs. The last 2 cubs tremble, exhausted, but alive. The mother tiger pushes them onto high ground, beyond the water's reach. Upon reaching safety, grief instantly transforms into primal rage. She turns on the bank, a mass of rippling, furious muscle. She plunges back into the deadly water, not searching for prey, just rage erupting, an instinctive reaction to the loss just suffered. 210 kilograms of tigress confronting nearly a ton of crocodile, claws raking thick scales, trying to find weak points, but there are almost none. The crocodile spins, teeth sharp as knives, tremendous bite force, but the mother tiger still doesn't retreat. Protective instinct keeps her fighting back. The battle lasts 30 seconds, but the river is crocodile territory. Water is their advantage. The mother tiger begins to tire. She looks toward shore. Two remaining cubs tremble, waiting. A difficult choice. Continue revenge or return to protect what remains. The two cubs run to her, press close to their mother. She licks them. A gentle, rhythmic motion. A silent signal. The ordeal has ended. But the ordeal hasn't truly ended. She must feed two cubs with less milk than before, must hunt more to compensate for what was lost. Tiger cub survival rates drop sharply after events like this. Psychological stress, nutritional deficiency, and danger always lurking. Climate change raises sea levels. Mangrove forests shrink. Tiger and crocodile territories overlap more. Conflicts increase. Humans also impact poaching, deforestation, pollution. Each year, about 100 Bengal tigers are lost. Time is running short. But hope remains. Conservation areas expand. Anti-poaching patrols strengthen. Local communities participate in protection. Efforts never cease. The mother tiger leads her two cubs away from the river, never returning to that place again. The harshest lesson has been recorded. Water isn't always safe. In the days that follow, she hunts more, sleeps less, always vigilant. The two cubs grow slower than normal, but continue maturing. 6 months later, the two cubs are much larger, healthier, learn survival skills from their mother, and from that fateful day, they learned a harsh lesson. Nature doesn't forgive mistakes. Every decision has consequences. And sometimes, survival is just luck. The river still flows, crocodiles still hide beneath, tigers still pass by. But this time keeping safe distance. Two worlds, one respect. In the silence of the Sundarbans forest, a lesson is recorded. Nature isn't cruel. Nature is only honest. And in that honesty, each creature finds its way to survive in its own way. Afternoon sunlight illuminates the Serengeti grasslands. Dry grass glows golden under temperatures of 35 degrees Celsius, a typical day in the heart of Africa. Here, every meal must be contested. Predator and prey, robber and robbed. The line between success and failure is very fragile. Two predator species are about to collide. One side is a warrior with deadly weapons. One side is an opportunistic thief who will claim victory. This is the story of an unexpected encounter, when a plan to steal prey becomes a battle to the death, when instinct decides survival. The secretary bird is one of Africa's most unique birds of prey. They stand over 1 meter tall and have a wingspan of nearly 2 meters. The name comes from the black feathers behind the head, resembling quill pens tucked behind a secretary's ear in olden times. But this bird is anything but gentle. They hunt snakes, large lizards, rodents, insects, but venomous snakes are their favorite. They have a unique hunting technique: kick prey to death. Long legs, sharp curved talons, specially developed leg muscles. A kick can generate force of nearly 20 kilograms, enough to crush the bones of venomous snakes. Serval, also called grassland wildcat, smaller than spotted leopards but larger than house cats. They weigh about 9 to 18 kilograms. The largest ears in the cat family relative to body size, superhuman hearing, can hear mice moving underground. Long legs, highest leg-to-body ratio in the cat family. It can jump up to 3 meters high and achieves a hunting success rate of about 50%. But today, the serval isn't hunting. It's seeking opportunity, stealing prey from others, conserving energy, increasing survival efficiency. The secretary bird has just found a snake, puff adder, venomous, dangerous, but to the secretary bird, this is a good meal. The snake rears its head, opens its mouth threateningly, ready to inject venom. But the secretary bird has faced such situations countless times. A kick shoots out lightning fast, precise, strikes the snake's head directly. It writhes violently, but isn't dead yet. Another kick, then another. The snake lies motionless. The secretary bird bends down to check the prey. Victory is clear, but in the grass, another is watching silently. The serval presses itself flat to the ground. It moves slowly, each step separated by several seconds. No sound. Every movement is calculated. It weighs options quickly. The bird is taller, heavier, and has extremely powerful legs. But that fat snake is a valuable protein source. It steps slowly forward, not to hunt the bird, but to steal the prey, a familiar tactic of an opportunistic hunter. The secretary bird reacts immediately. Defensive instinct flares. It clamps the snake tightly in its beak and won't let go. This prey belongs to it. It spreads its wings nearly 2 meters wide, creating a large visual wall. The goal is to make the cat back down, a familiar defensive tactic. The serval backs away a few steps, but doesn't leave. It circles slowly, eyes still locked on target, patiently waiting for a moment of vulnerability. It lunges again, testing the bird's powerful legs. Claws touch wing feathers, but still not enough to steal the snake. The snake falls to the ground, but the conflict has now gone beyond food. No longer a dispute over prey. This is a battle. The secretary bird unleashes the first kick, lightning fast, Nearly 20 kilograms of force in an instant misses the cat's head by just a few centimeters. The serval dodges quickly. Reflexes of a born hunter, it lunges, trying to bite the bird's knee joint to neutralize the dangerous legs. The bird jumps back. Second kick hits the cat's shoulder, not strong enough to cause serious injury, but enough to cause pain. An accurate kick could shatter the serval's jaw, ending its hunting ability forever. Therefore, the cat must strike very fast and precisely. The serval lunges again, this time lowering its body. It pounces on the secretary bird's chest area. Claws dig deep, pulling the bird down. The secretary bird struggles violently. Wings beat on hard, creating wind currents that send dust flying. It tries to kick, but the serval has latched too close for the strike to be effective. The battle lasts about 3 minutes, consuming enormous metabolic energy. Both are breathing heavily, but neither side will let go. The serval changes tactics. It seeks the bird's neck position. This is the cat family's familiar killing technique, the suffocating bite. The secretary bird senses danger. It struggles to escape, but the cat's weight presses heavily. Wings no longer have space to swing. The serval seizes the bird's neck. Fangs sink deep, not piercing completely, but clamping tight. The goal is to cut off oxygen. Time decides life and death. The bird lies on the ground, wings spread wide on the dry earth. It's still alive, but no longer has strength to continue fighting. The cat still holds the bird's neck tight. It doesn't loosen. The struggling weakens with each second, each breath, until the body is motionless. After about 5 minutes, all movement ceases. The warrior has fallen. The opportunist wins, not through strength, but through tactics. The serval releases the bird. It's exhausted. Victory has come, but the price is very high. Energy expended equivalent to many days of normal hunting. It doesn't eat the bird. Instead, it drags out the snake, the original meal, the reason for the conflict. It eats hurriedly before others appear. 15 minutes later, vultures land. They clean up what remains. Here, nothing is wasted. The cycle continues. Prey stealing is common behavior in Africa. Hyenas steal from leopards. Lions steal leopard kills. Survival becomes more difficult. But this behavior is full of risk. About half the time, the thief gets injured, 1/5 end in death. The price to pay is very high. Climate change makes food sources scarcer. Competition increases. Prey theft occurs more frequently. Mortality rates also rise. Both servals and secretary birds are species that need conservation. Their numbers are declining as habitats increasingly shrink. As the sun sets over the Serengeti, the grassland gradually quiets again. The cat has left. Vultures have flown away. Only traces of battle remain on the sand. In the harsh reality of the African bush, the line between hunter and prey is always fragile. The thief can become the executioner. No heroes, no villains, only creatures trying to survive by any means and any tactics possible. And in the silence of the Serengeti night, one law still silently operates. Nature doesn't judge. Nature only selects. The wiser one, the luckier one, the one still alive. The sun has not yet reached its peak. The African grassland stretches out in silence. Only the wind gliding across the yellowed grass as it bends and sways. In the distance, a small figure moves low to the ground, steady, unhurried, as though it knows exactly where it is headed. This is the morning of the animal known as the fearless one. On this savanna, very few creatures dare to hunt alone in broad daylight. But Ironhide, this adult male honey badger, answers to no one's schedule. It moves by its own rules and its own will. The honey badger is a small carnivore belonging to the family Mustelidae, widely distributed from sub-Saharan Africa to the Indian subcontinent. Its average weight ranges from 9 to 14 kilograms. Its uniquely thick and loose skin allows the body to twist even while being held in a bite, a defensive mechanism refined by evolution over millions of years. Ironhide stops. Its nose drops close to the ground, nostrils flaring rapidly with each breath. Something in the morning air causes it to change direction. The honey badger's sense of smell can detect prey at distances far beyond what the eye can see. A single odor molecule is enough to trigger its instincts. Ironhide begins to accelerate, head lowered, tail held level, the typical hunting posture of a honey badger, signaling that it is not exploring, but closing in on a confirmed target. The scent Ironhide has picked up is no ordinary prey. It is the smell of newborn hyena cubs, creatures not yet capable of defending themselves. Up ahead, concealed behind a thorn bush, lies a complex burrow system. This is the territory of a hyena clan, one of the most organized hunting collectives in Africa. At this hour, most of the clan's adults have left to forage. Only a few females remain behind, on guard. But Ironhide seems entirely unconcerned. To understand why a 12-kilogram animal would dare approach the territory of a species with the most powerful bite force among mid-sized carnivores, we must look at the very nature of this creature. The hyena is a carnivore with one of the strongest bite forces among mid-sized predators, reaching over 1,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush the thickest bones. Hyenas live in a matriarchal social structure. Females hold higher rank than males. Within the clan, all territorial defense decisions are coordinated collectively. Every movement of the clan reflects thousands of years of evolutionary cooperation, not the strength of any single individual, but the efficiency of the group. Bite force is not their only advantage. Hyenas can sustain a pace of 50 to 60 kilometers per hour over long distances. A chase is not meant to catch, it is meant to exhaust. Ironhide continues forward. It moves along the downwind path, keeping its own scent from drifting ahead. Step by step, the distance to the burrow closes. This is not the first time a honey badger has approached a hyena den. Field observations show that this behavior appears when food sources become scarce. Risk is always present on the honey badger's journey, but for this species, danger is not a reason to stop. It is merely a variable in the equation of survival. Ironhide crosses the outer boundary of the territory. It is now within range where any hyena can spot it and react within seconds. At the burrow entrance, the cubs lie huddled together. They are not yet capable of self-defense, still inside the den, and entirely dependent on the clan. The honey badger takes a few more steps forward. Its nose sweeps close to the ground, head tilting slightly to the right, the typical scent-tracking behavior before a strike. It has detected the cubs. A short, sharp cry rises from the hyena's burrow. A cub is pulled out into the light, and in an instant, the stillness of the grassland vanishes entirely. The nearest female hyena raises her head, both ears standing straight up. She immediately understands this is no sound of wind or playful cubs. It is a warning sign of danger. Within seconds, the mother hyena lets out a series of low, drawn-out whoop calls. The signal carries far across the plain, calling other clan members to return immediately. Ironhide turns around. Behind it, the hyena clan is accelerating from two directions, while ahead lies only open ground with nowhere to hide. Surrounded in that moment, the honey badger drops the cub and turns to face the threat. Its survival instinct chooses to fight rather than flee. The mother hyena moves straight to the cub, lifts it gently in her jaws, and pulls it back toward the burrow. Meanwhile, the two remaining hyenas advance on Ironhide. For the hyenas, securing the cub is only the first step. Once the vulnerable individual is safe, the clan typically coordinates to eliminate the intruder from their territory. Ironhide does not run. Hackles raised, back lowered, jaws wide open, a full combat stance. For this animal, escape sometimes begins with confrontation. The hyenas take turns attacking. The honey badger spins in half a second and bites back into the nearest muzzle. The hyena recoils, not from pain, but from surprise. This is the moment where the honey badger achieves something rare in nature, making a much larger animal pause. For a few seconds, the hyena clan hesitates. But that pause does not last. One hyena moves in from behind, while another draws its attention from the front. Ironhide is bitten on the face and rear flank. It spins quickly and bites back. The loose skin allows the twist, but cannot hold off two sets of jaws at once. In a multi-opponent confrontation, endurance is the deciding factor. Ironhide can tolerate pain far beyond the ordinary, but it cannot compensate for a sustained numerical disadvantage. Ironhide begins to retreat toward the edge of the hyena's encirclement, step by careful step. It searches for a gap to break through as the gray-brown ring slowly tightens. This is the hallmark of the hyena encirclement tactic. No need for a decisive strike. Simply maintain pressure, cut off the escape route, and wait for the opponent to exhaust itself from within. Ironhide bites back once more, fierce, but unable to create any distance. Energy drains steadily, each rotation of the body costing more than the last. In nature, the line between life and death rarely arrives suddenly. Sometimes it comes slowly, through each shortened breath of a creature still in the fight. Ironhide still stands, still turning to face the nearest attacker. Its deepest instinct will not allow it to fall while it can still fight. The hyena clan coordinates a final assault. Force converges from 3 directions at once. And this time, the honey badger no longer has the speed to break free. Ironhide goes down. The hyena clan gathers around the one who dared invade their territory. The grassland returns to silence after everything has been decided. In field observations, honey badgers attacking hyena dens is not uncommon. The outcome typically depends on how many clan members are present at the time. Outside the burrow, the hyena cubs lie still. They do not yet understand what has just taken place out there. They only know that their mother's familiar presence is still close beside them. Adult male honey badgers have an average lifespan of 7 to 10 years in the wild. In that time, they may face lions, leopards, and venomous snakes, and most of the time, they survive. Today is simply an exception. But the fall of one individual does not mean the fall of a species. Elsewhere, on the grassland, another honey badger is still digging into a beehive, hunting, and continuing the cycle of survival. On this grassland, there is no permanent victory. Each day is only a series of survival choices, where every species, from hyena to honey badger, plays its role in an ecosystem far greater than any single individual. The Luangwa River flows through the heart of Zambia, clear water reflecting the sky. But this calm surface conceals a dangerous world below. The dry season arrives, water level drop, large pools shrink into small lakes, animals gather around water sources. Danger begins to emerge. Here, 2 giant species coexist. Hippos, Nile crocodiles. Both are masters of the river, but when water recedes, territories begin to overlap. This is the story of new life, of the survival battle from day one, when the underwater trap always lurks, waiting for moments of weakness. Hippopotamus, the 3rd largest land mammal after elephants and rhinos. Adult weight up to 1,500 kilograms. Canine teeth up to 60 centimeters long. Bite force 2,000 kilograms. Speed on land 30 kilometers per hour. One of Africa's most dangerous animals. They live in groups of 10 to 30 individuals. Complex social structure. Dominant males control a territory. Females and young live communally. Underwater, they can dive for 5 minutes. They walk on the riverbed, communicate with low-frequency sounds. A separate world exists beneath the surface. Today, a female is about to give birth. She leaves the pod, seeks calmer water, a place with less crocodile presence, where she has the best chance to protect her calf. Hippos give birth underwater. Unlike most mammals, the newborn must swim to the surface immediately for its first breath, a life or death moment. The calf weighs about 30 kilograms, vulnerable, cannot dive long yet, completely dependent on mother. The first days are most dangerous. The mother hippo keeps her calf on her back or in front of her body, always within control. Protective instinct rarely seen in herbivores. Nile crocodile, one of the largest surviving reptiles, can reach 6 meters long, weighing nearly a ton. Lifespan can reach 100 years. They don't hunt adult hippos. Too large, too dangerous. But hippo calves are different targets. Small, weak, easily separated from mother. Crocodiles can lie motionless for hours. Only eyes and nostrils above water. The rest hidden below, like driftwood. No one suspects. Perfect ambush tactics at river crossing points, where hippos must pass daily, where water is shallow, where calves are easily separated. Second week after birth, the mother hippo needs to return to the pod. The calf is strong enough to travel, but not strong enough to defend itself. She must pass through territories of 3 different males. Each could attack the calf, not to eat, but to eliminate another's genes. And crocodiles, at least 5 lurking along the route, they know the mother hippo will pass. Just a matter of time. Early morning. The mother hippo begins her journey. The calf swims close beside, trying to keep up, but swimming speed much slower than mother's. First territory. A bull hippo blocks the way, mouth gaping wide, a clear warning, but she doesn't back down. Tension lasts several seconds. Then the bull retreats, not from fear, but because it's not worth confronting a mother protecting her young at all costs. They enter shallow water, the crossing point. Water surface clear as crystal, peaceful, but the mother hippo knows silence is a sign of danger. She slows down, eyes scanning every ripple, ears listening for every sound. The calf swims behind, unaware danger is imminent. 1 meter ahead, just below the surface, the largest crocodile in the area lies still, waiting for the perfect opportunity. The calf falls slightly behind mother, just 1 meter, but enough to create a gap for the crocodile to act. The decisive moment has arrived. The crocodile launches from the riverbed. Water explodes. White foam erupts, jaws gaping wide, targeting the calf's hind leg. Astonishing speed. The mother hippo reacts instantly, spins around, charges backward, pushes calf aside. The bite misses by mere centimeters. But the crocodile doesn't give up. It twists in the water, this time aiming straight for the calf's neck. If it succeeds, everything will end. The mother hippo charges between them. 2,000 kilograms of hippo colliding with 1 ton of crocodile. Water erupts. Cannot see clearly. Only sounds of violent impact. She opens her mouth wide. Canines stab the crocodile's flank. Thick scales protect it, but cannot withstand the massive bite force. She hurls the crocodile out of the water. Then it crashes down, a stunning display of power. The crocodile swims away. Though injured, it survives. Today's meal doesn't belong to it. It misjudged a mother's strength. The mother hippo turns back, checks her calf, trembling, frightened, but uninjured. But the journey isn't over. 2 more territories remain. Other crocodiles still wait. She must continue. Keep her calf closer, more vigilant. 2 hours later, they reach the pod, safe. The first survival lesson has been learned. In the following weeks, the calf grows rapidly, learns to dive longer, swim faster, recognize danger, each day a new lesson. But risk doesn't disappear. Crocodiles still lurk, bull hippos still aggressive, and the dry season makes life harsher. Climate change extends the dry season. Water sources increasingly shrink. Hippos and crocodiles forced to live closer together. Conflicts increase. Each year, about 30% of hippo calves don't survive the first year. Crocodiles, bull hippos, food shortage, disease. But survivors will become stronger, smarter, more cautious. They learn the most important lesson. Vigilance is the key to survival. Conservation areas are working to protect them, monitoring hippopods, protecting water sources, preventing poaching, but challenges remain enormous. In 2026, hippo populations declined 30% in the past 2 decades. Urgent action needed to protect them. When the sun sets, the hippopod emerges on shore to feed. The calf stays close to mother, safer on land, but tomorrow they'll return to the water. Beneath the surface, crocodiles still lie silent, waiting for a new day, waiting for another opportunity. The survival cycle continues, without rest. In the silence of the Luangwa River, a truth is rewritten each day. Life doesn't begin with ease, but with battle. Calves don't just learn to swim, don't just learn to eat. They learn to recognize danger, trust instinct, and learn to survive. And in that lesson lies a powerful message. The greatest strength doesn't lie in muscle, but in a mother's love, ready to fight to the end to protect life. As the darkness finally yields to the break of dawn, the African savanna wakes up in silence. A thin mist still lingers on the dry grass. Under the sparse acacia trees, the space remains quiet. There is nothing yet to suggest that today will be any different from thousands of days before. From the bushes, a pair of golden eyes opens. Though not yet moving, the body is already in a state of readiness, not because of danger, but because of instinct. This is a land where every species participates in a common game. No rules are written, but everyone understands their boundaries. The Cape porcupine, Hystrix africa australis, moves along a path it has memorized from many nights before. Each footstep is steady, without haste. A layer of quills covering from neck to tail reaches up to 30 centimeters long. They are not for attacking, but a defense system formed through tens of millions of years of evolution. This rodent is primarily nocturnal, living in pairs or small groups. They forage on the ground, digging for roots and tubers to maintain energy. Upon detecting a strange sound, the porcupine stops abruptly. The quills on its back rise in less than a second, a reflex that requires no thought. In the ecosystem, porcupines play a significant role. Their burrows become shelters for many other species when the dry season arrives. It emerges from the burrow, lifting its head. The air carries a strange scent. Something in the distance is shifting that only its nose can perceive. Not far away, under the acacia canopy, a young individual watches. Less than 2 years old, it is making its first independent hunting decision, marking the transition from dependence to self-reliance. The leopard moves step by step, hiding itself in the grassland. The savanna does not know that a script is about to unfold, and no one can predict the outcome. It should be noted that this young leopard is in the process of maturing. All its skills need to be honed through experience, sometimes at the cost of pain. The leopard, Africa's most versatile, solitary predator, capable of climbing trees, swimming, and adapting to almost any environment. This leopard lacks enough experience to distinguish familiar prey from prey that carries potential risks. It looks at the porcupine and sees only an opportunity. Each porcupine quill is a hollow keratin fiber, sharp and featuring backward-facing barbs. Once embedded in soft tissue, they pull themselves deeper with every movement of the victim. The leopard has speed, strength, and claws. The porcupine has an armor that cannot be pierced by conventional approaches. This is a match where strategy is more important than strength. The porcupine continues to move, unaware of the approaching danger. But instinct begins to register signals. The pace slows. The head tilts slightly. When the distance is 20 meters, the porcupine recognizes the change in its environment. It bristles its quills and runs toward the grass thicket ahead. The distance closes to 10 meters. The grass is still. The wind stops. In that moment, the savanna seems to hold its breath, along with the two creatures facing each other. The leopard lunges. The porcupine's reflex is instantaneous. Its back turns toward the attacker, quills standing upright like a living fence. But the leopard is too close to stop. The leopard recoils. One or two quills have pierced its front paw. It looks down, licking the paw, an action not of calm, but of confusion. The porcupine does not flee. Instead, it continuously pivots to keep the quills pointed toward its opponent. This is the optimal strategy after millions of years of evolution. The leopard continues to approach from the front, exactly the direction the porcupine is defending most strongly. It hasn't realized that the quillless part is at the head, not the rear. The second time, the leopard lunges from a side angle. The porcupine pivots in time. A quill stabs into the leopard's cheek. A short hiss, not from the porcupine. The pain is much clearer than before. But during that pivot, the porcupine failed to maintain a perfect defensive heading. A part of its body without quills was exposed for a few seconds. Fortunately, the leopard was not focused enough to capitalize. Both sides stop. The leopard breathes heavily. The porcupine still turns slowly, patiently. Neither side wants to leave first, as the price to pay grows steadily larger. The leopard begins to circle. The porcupine follows every step closely. The turning circle tightens. This is no longer a simple hunt. It is a test of patience and technique. The leopard tries a third time, this time from above, attempting to use its weight to pin the porcupine to the ground. But quills do not distinguish the angle of attack. The result remains unchanged. In a fit of desperation, the leopard bites the porcupine's body. That was the final mistake of the day. Quills embed deeply into its gums and tongue, so much so that it cannot close its mouth immediately. With quills stuck in its mouth and at least 3 others in its paws, the leopard's ability to hunt in the coming days will be severely compromised. The porcupine does not linger. It turns away in its original direction, its footsteps steady as if nothing had happened. Its body is almost entirely intact. Porcupine quills do not inject venom. Their impact comes from physical shape. The backward barbs prevent easy removal, and infection is the greatest risk for the one stuck by them. The young leopard will carry those quills for many days. Some may migrate deeper on their own. With each passing day, the pain will teach it something no book could record. In nature, predators learn through failure just as much as through success. Every wound carries information that instinct cannot provide from the start. The porcupine's survival is not accidental. It is the result of long-term natural selection, optimizing a defense mechanism without needing to actively attack. After a few days, the leopard recovers and begins a new hunt. But every time it encounters a porcupine, it remembers that battle, making it reluctant to attack. In this world, no lesson is free. The remaining question, will today's lesson be enough to change future decisions? However, this species is facing a threat that no quill can defend against: the shrinking of habitat due to human expansion. The distribution range of the African porcupine has narrowed over several decades. They are forced to move through unfamiliar environments to find food and shelter. For the leopard, the threat is similar. Both species are adjusting their behavior in a world changing faster than evolution can keep up. What happened between the leopard and the porcupine is part of a continuous chain of lessons. Nature does not teach with words, it teaches through consequences. Both species will continue to exist in their own ways. One with perfect defensive armor, the other with a painful memory newly acquired. The savanna remains the same. Nothing changes in the big picture, but at an individual level, both leave with new knowledge learned from pain. There are no absolute winners or losers in encounters like these. There are only individuals who become better suited to the world they live in. The porcupine keeps moving. The leopard will try again with a different strategy and different prey. The savanna does not judge. It only records. After today will be another new day, each species continuing to play its irreplaceable role in a system larger than any individual. And as the light of the day's end gradually blankets the savanna, this land does not remember the names of any of them, but it keeps the traces of all.